James Maxwell Supersonic Studios here, and I just wanted to make a quick video about some of the new whips that I've picked up recently. Of course, there's this beautiful economy indie style whip by Swordguy Builds that I love. This is a beautiful whip. The rollout of this whip is just, it's perfect. I mean, it's just like butter. Beautiful whip. Really pleased with this whip. I'm looking forward to possibly picking more whips by this maker. Highly suggest that other people do as well. Don't let the name economy fool you. This is a beautiful whip. But, you know, I'm primarily known as a bullwhip user on this channel, and that's primarily what I use. But I'm also just I just so like whips in general, and I'm a huge fan of that Quigley saying. I said I never had much use for one. I never said I didn't know how to use it. And I think that's a really important thing to have in a skill set, no matter what it is. So here are some of my other whips, really quickly, including two new whips. I'll just... So this is not a new whip. This is a 5.5 foot stock whip by DeSaye that I picked up at Three Forks Saddlery about a decade ago. Longer than that. But I've had it for a while, and it serves as my stock whip. It's a nice whip, you know? Stock whips really aren't my thing, really, but I enjoy them, and perhaps I'd like to know more how to use them. So recently, after a decade of this serving as my stock whip, I decided to get another one from Greg. So I went on his website and ordered the same color, but with a fully plaited handle. So there is that. And I discovered something amazing, that there's been a decade of difference, but these two 5.5 stock whips are, for all intents and purposes, matched, right? And that's like the limit of my double cracking that I'm able to do at this point. But they work really well together, so I'm really happy after a decade of only having one stock whip. Now I have two if I ever want to explore that a little bit. That's not really my vein and the niche that I like to occupy in cracking whips, but now the option is there, and I have two really nice Montana-made stock whips. Highly recommended as well. Look up Greg DeSaye Stockman Supply if you're looking for a working whip. These go to working cowboys all over the country and all over the world, and I highly recommend them. So we just got back from a trip from Bozeman, and I stopped by Three Forks Saddlery, where I purchased this whip, like I said, about a decade ago. And just to, you know, I figured the lady was there. I figured she'd want to look at the saddles and stuff and the tack and whatnot. And by golly, they didn't have any of Greg's whips in. They had something else. So this is a Florida cow whip by Krist King. Now, I've heard the name Krist King associated with cow whips for a very long time. I remember when you poke around the web looking at things that his name comes up with this. So I had an opportunity to purchase one. I don't know when I'd have another opportunity to. I certainly wouldn't necessarily go out looking for a Florida cow whip. That's not, you know, the type of whip that I generally crack, but I had the opportunity and I had the extra money in my bank account. Okay, I didn't have the extra money in my bank account, but I had the money in my bank account, so I picked this up. I'd like to thank Three Forks Saddlery for not only having this whip for me to purchase, but also for giving us a great tour and giving us options the next time that we're in the area. So thanks to them. But this is brand new. I'm still figuring it out. If anyone out there knows more about cow whips, how to use them, what you like in them, what to look for, please let me know, because this is literally on the other side of the country from me. And the good news is that Three Forks Saddlery can't keep whips in stock right now, which is great. And there was a pile of these there. So, like I said, this is really new, and it hasn't quite uncoiled yet. This is a heavily waxed nylon paracord whip. But from what I can tell, once it stretches out, it cracks readily. There we go. We're still figuring it out. I think I just need to use it a little bit more. But for me personally, I do not think this is the type of thing that I'm going to be using around human targets. There is a few things that add an element of variables in it, like this really fascinating, slightly turning handle that is obviously designed. I mean, these are what working Florida cowboys use, but for myself, I don't think that I am at the point where I trust this amount of variable in my handle when I'm working with a human subject. But I think for generally cracking, and for having a Florida cow whip in my collection. I think this is going to be an excellent one. And like I said, Mr. King is a maker of Florida cow whips of some distinction. So I'm really pleased to add this to my collection. So these are just some new whips that I've picked up, and thought I'd share them with you. And until then, to my next video, which I don't know what it'll be or what I want. If there's something that you want, comment below, and we'll see if we can't answer your question for you. Until then, I'm James Maxwell. Practice. Stay safe.